Hey everyone, happy Saturday, Hailey here, and school is right around the corner for those community college students out there. For some of you, this may be your last weekend of freedom before you have to go back to school. So I just wanted to take this moment to talk to you about the social life of a community college student, because this is something that's been coming up a lot, and I'm sure this is something that's on your mind, especially if you're starting at a new community college where maybe you don't know anyone. I was in that boat just a few years ago. So today's video is going to be a little bit more personal. It's going to be more of like a sit down talking video rather than like an informational video where I kind of lecture at you. And I just want to start off by saying that making friends is obviously going to be an experience that is different for everybody. So for me personally, if you know anything about my story, without getting into too much detail, I am a very shy person. I am an introvert by nature. I tend to keep to myself, and I really enjoy time to myself. I do better individually than I do in groups in most situations. So in high school, this was a big problem for me. I didn't have very many friends, but I also went to an all-girls school where it tended to be a little bit cliquey, and a lot of people went to the same middle schools, so when they came into high school, they already knew each other. I went there without knowing anyone, and it was a different experience. Now, fast forward to community college. By the time I got to community college, I already had some friends who went there. We didn't actually ever take any classes together, but I did know a few people, and then through those people, I started to kind of branch out and meet a lot more people. So what I want you to take away from this is that community college and high school are very different. Even if you are going to community college and you already know some of the people who go there, or a lot of people who go there are from the same high school as you, things are not necessarily going to be the same as they were in high school, and things aren't necessarily going to be the same between you and those people as they were in high school. A lot of people like to call community college the 13th grade, and that is just such a ridiculous myth to me because community college and high school are nothing alike in my mind. I'm not here to talk about academics. That's a whole nother situation, a whole nother story. If you want to know more about that, check out some of my other videos about community college. I'm talking strictly about the social aspect of community college and making friends. So when it comes to making friends in community college, I think you shouldn't worry too much about this because, one, it's not nearly as cliquey as high school is. Even though some people do know each other, you are not necessarily taking the same classes, you're not necessarily pursuing the same academic goals or endeavors, so you won't necessarily even interact with anyone that you already know. In most situations, in my experience, people are really friendly in community college. People, want to get to know their classmates. They talk a lot. Once again, you're meeting people from all walks of life. So yeah, maybe there is a good portion of the students who are coming from high school who just graduated. There's also going to be a good portion of students who are like 25, 30, maybe they're veterans and they're just going back into school. There's going to be maybe even some 40, 50, or 60-year-olds in your class. Like, you just never know. What I'm really trying to say is, don't go into community college with these expectations that you're not going to talk to anyone, that you're just going to go to class, sit in class, listen to the teacher lecture, and drive home, and then that's it. If you want to have that experience, you will have that experience. Trust me, because that's pretty much the experience that I had to a degree. I'm not very social, like I said, so I didn't really try to initiate conversation or make friends with anyone, but honestly, if I wanted to, it would have been very easy. There are a lot of people who would talk to me, and just like, okay, even taking out of the equation just like a social aspect of like how outgoing you are, if you're in a group project, you're going to be interacting with people. And 9 times out of 10, whether you like it or not, those people will start to kind of feel comfortable with you, and they're going to start to treat you like less of a classmate, more of an acquaintance or a friend. So when it comes to community college, what is the best way to make friends? Well, like I said, just being outgoing and social in your classrooms is going to get you pretty far, especially if you're on the semester system, because you're going to be spending 15 to 16 weeks in class with these people. So if there's someone that you're interested in getting to know, like, you might as well. But if you want to take it outside of that realm, I think there are 2 things that you can do that are really great. One, I talked about this a little bit in my other video. It's not actually related to school, but I think one of the greatest things you can do for yourself is get a job. It's kind of nice to relate to people when it comes to something other than school, which is probably what you're used to. You just went to school for 12 years. 2, the other thing that can be really, really helpful and I think good. And this is just at any school in general. It doesn't have to be community college. It could be high school or university or whatever. I think joining clubs has to be like the number one way to meet people at your school, because a lot of times in college or in community college or high school, whatever, sometimes people aren't as outgoing as they are naturally, like in a classroom environment. Like if you're in a class, you're there to study, right? You're there to learn. Maybe they don't want to have a conversation. Maybe they don't want to talk about what they did that weekend, whatever. But if you go to a club, doesn't necessarily have to be an academic club. If you join a club that's like for fun, or maybe it is academic or whatever, maybe it's like a committee where you're responsible for planning things, this can be a really great way to get to know people, because you're not so constricted and limited to talking about the subject that you're studying. So that's great, because this opens up a lot of conversation and dialogue for other things. Joining clubs, I am a really big fan of. It's always something that I've really enjoyed. Like I was on student council in high school and a few other clubs, and I, like I said, was very shy, but that was the one time where I truly felt like myself in high school. Like I always felt very comfortable giving speeches to the entire student body. I didn't feel so comfortable if I had to have a one-on-one conversation with someone who was in the same grade as me. I know it's weird, but that's just how I am. So I really feel like joining clubs can be a good way to open up friendships and open up doors of opportunity that might not otherwise exist. Because a lot of the people that I did meet through student council in high school, even though we never became super close, these are people who, when I would see in the hallway, like pass me by, we would say hey to each other. Whenever we had these student council events, we would always be with each other. Sometimes, they would even invite me to like their birthday parties, even if we wouldn't hang out regularly or text regularly. It was nice to just know that I was being thought of in that way. So that is what can happen for you if you decide to join a club. The bottom line is, community college is an experience, as I always say, that you will get out of it what you make it. I mean, if you want to make friends, you could be super popular, you could know everyone, like you could do that. If you want to just, literally go to class and go home, there's nothing wrong with that. You can do that as well. Like you don't have to interact with anyone on a personal level if you don't want to. I mean, I wouldn't suggest that, but if you are really like, if that's what your mindset is, it's doable. But I hope that this kind of gave you a better understanding of what community college is like and what making friends and being social in community college looks like. Thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed the content in this video, please give it a thumbs up and please consider subscribing to my channel if you haven't already. I post new videos about community college and transferring and college student life every week, and I will see you next Saturday at 3 p.m. Bye.